I'm doing set design right now. You know, making my collar nice. To be honest, I do tidy up a little bit before I know that I'm going to do a pan of my van. Not too much. Like, my mornings are very simple. I usually just make a coffee and make my bed, and now I'm here. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 5th, episode of the Old Van Podcast. I am going to be answering some questions as well as soaking in the conversational energy of where I'm parked right now, which is just outside of Ucluelet and just outside of Tofino. I was thinking about going to explore Tofino today. Also, I'm really thinking about just going towards Kennedy Lake. There's so many directions that I could take. Well, pretty much 3 directions that I'm trying to decide between. I have spent a lot of time into Ucluelet, like probably over a week, but sorry, there was a dog that distracted me. He's so cute. He's black, his tail was just wagging, and he was reading the signs. What a smart dog. Ucluelet was awesome. I loved exploring the Wild Pacific Trail and just going back and forth, and it was good. I didn't get to see it on a super sunny day, but that's okay. It was still really awesome, and I tried to linger there as long as possible. I went to their library, and I did laundry there. I got groceries a few times, and actually yesterday I had to buy a new camper stove from the co-op, which was probably more expensive than I wanted to pay, but I was desperate, and I don't really know where else in these small towns that you could buy something like that. I don't think I saw Home Hardware, possibly in Tofino, I didn't check, but I needed it because I thought I could fix it, and so I left it until the morning, and then it was the morning, and then the day was just like, oh, I'm hungry. Also, I've been out of food for a really long time, you know, when you get to the end of food, and I was only eating rice and lentils for the longest time. So it was just like, I need to buy this. Like, I feel not well. Food definitely helps. I stocked up with really good stuff, and I feel like today we'll have questions about van food and recipes. So we'll wait to talk about that when the time comes, because there's so much other stuff to tell you guys about. I have been wanting to do a podcast. I just haven't been feeling into it, and I hope today doesn't turn too much into therapy, but that's the worst thing, because it's too honest of a look at my life that it might turn into therapy. But that's the podcast. They're like no standard. It's not like preachy. It's just a stream of consciousness. But I know you're not supposed to put things on YouTube that you haven't worked through already. But, you know, it just inspires metaphors and things to talk about, so maybe that's the direction I'll take around it. This is too much babbling. This is the babbliest podcast so far, I think. Halfway into my coffee, and we're going to start with a question that I'm so excited for, because it's our first audio submission. Thank you, Teresa. You are the best. And let's listen to what you have to ask. Turn this all the way up.
Hi, Stephen. It's Teresa from Alberta Schoolie Adventures. First of all, I wanted to thank you for your amazing videos. I wanted to ask you one question. What is your favorite food or van meal to make?
Wow. What a terrific question. You sound so nice. You have a very soothing voice. You need to do a podcast. I would listen to that for sure. But thank you for your question. That was such an exciting audio submission that you guys can do as well at my email in the description. So, my favorite food, which, what a coincidence, I may have possibly just listened to that question right before we started, but anyways, I want to eat I've just been really into bananas, which is such a crazy thing, and I keep bringing up bananas on my podcast, but I had such a tumultuous relationship with bananas my entire life. I never liked them until like 2 years ago, and especially in a van, I love bananas. But I'm gonna try to be more creative than that. My favorite meal. Your head back and you spit in the wind. Let the rose crack, 'cause it lasts a life. So the most exciting thing that I have in my van currently, that it's a rarity, that I have all the ingredients that it takes to make this beautiful meal, but I just bought the ingredients to create some tacos. So, yeah, just some beef tacos. And I have tons of spices in my van, so I'm never lacking in those. So I can't wait to make some tacos. Yeah, I haven't had tacos in such a long time, but I feel like now's the time. The weather's kind of perfect for meat. I mean, cold is good too, but it's just not that cold, and it's starting to warm up, and I have to have some meat meals before the winter or the summer starts. I bet it's gonna get really hot. Tacos are the best van meal, hands down. Because I actually bought wraps and everything. Oh my god, I'm so excited. What a wonderful question. Thank you. And I look forward to having tacos on a beach in a video soon. With my new camper stove that I just told you guys about. Yeah, it's a little bit more compact than my old camper stove, so it's more portable, which makes me really excited. And also in a future vlog, you'll see me trying to tear apart my camper stove very unsuccessfully. Or unsuccessful results. I tore it apart good. Anyways, you always relax me, says Missy B. LOL, such a calming voice to listen to. As always, just love your videos. Question, I know you said you'd like to have animals travel with you, but what is your favorite animal, wild or domestic, and what would your travel companion be? I love animals. Oh, every time I see an animal, I get more excited than when I see a human. Not that we're comparing, but would I have a pet human? I don't know if that's appropriate. But animal-wise, I think I would love a... Just the other day, I saw a cute mink playing in the rocks at the beach, and it was just like brown and super furry, and just like its gestures were just so like elegant and cute, and it just looks like it was posing every time I looked at it. But so I would love to domesticate a beautiful minx. I don't really know if that's a thing, but yeah, that's what's on my mind right now. But also a cat. I love having a cat. Cats are really perfect and genius. But then a dog. No, dog is definitely the one that I have to wait for. I have to wait like at least 5 years or something to get a dog, because that's too much responsibility, and I wouldn't be able to take care of a dog if I had one. But anyways, thank you for that question. That's really exciting. I wish I could domesticate a wild animal and just like come to it every morning in the forest and say hello and we can be friends, but fortunately I drive around too much for that to happen. But maybe once I start staying in one place. Wonderful question. I love talking about animals. They're my favorite. Thanks for bringing it up. Priscilla Haskin says, Gilmore Girls cry face. You know Gilmore Girls? It's a good show. It's kind of funny. It has its problems, but it presented itself for a long time throughout my adolescence. Yes, the more I hear about the benefits of a swivel seat, the more I really want one for my van. Yeah. I know some swivel seats are definitely different than others, so it's not just the fact that it swivels, it's the quality of the swivel. Mine, when I turn it around, I can't drive with it like that. I can't see out my window, so I have to turn it back around when I want to move. But some swivel seats, like my friend Laureen, you can turn it around and there's a lot more room in the front, so she uses that as storage mostly, and she doesn't have to move stuff all the time, because I have to move all the storage whenever I want to swivel my seat too, which is just like a backpack, but still. Laureen doesn't have to, yeah, she can drive with it swiveled around, so that might be something else to consider if you're installing one, like maybe the structure of the seat or something like that. But I love the swivel seat. I think it's a really cool, like a huge transformation for a van. I love that it has that setting. um, just because it's such a small space, it's fun to make it different once in a while. A beach asks, how long are you planning on staying in the region? Are you able to stay on the island to find work if need be? Yes, this region. I really didn't know at the time. I really only wanted to stay like a month, maybe, just a few weeks. Um, so it's been a couple weeks already, and maybe a few weeks. I really can't keep track of time, but I will be able to look it up afterwards and how long I stayed here. But I think just a month. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll get to get those really like hot, sunny, beachy days. I've been walking along Long Beach and seeing all the beaches here, and they're pretty wet, but that's okay. They're still so pretty. And I did get it yesterday on a sunny day, which was really nice, and I could see what it could be. Like areas of sand were starting to dry, and I'm like, ooh, that's warm. This is nice. And uh I love the beach. I definitely spent a lot of beach days in Vancouver, Wreck Beach, and Third Beach. Those are nice, but oh, I can't wait for a beach day. Being able to swim. I have been slightly considering trying surfing, renting a surfboard and a wetsuit for a day. I think it's gonna go so badly though. So I'm really nervous. I've never been good at balancing things, like the simplest things. Like I can't even skate. Well, I haven't really tried, but I'm okay. Maybe I'll try surfing. Probably not. Maybe next time. Anyways, how long were you planning on staying in the region? Yeah, maybe about a month. And are you able to stay on the island to find work if need be? I don't know about if I can stay on the island. I can go to Vancouver and get work. I have a couple things that I'm thinking about there, but I wish I could stay on the island. A couple months ago, I was really looking into tree planting, and that if I could get a job of that on the island. They mostly do really inland stuff when you're just starting out and you're a beginner, and they give the coastal stuff to people who have more experience. So I don't think I'll be able to stay on the island for that. But where could I go? So I don't think I'll be able to stay on the island, but we'll see. We'll see. There's a fire starting in my heart, burning a fever pitch and bring me out the dark. Finally. Okay, that's embarrassing. I shouldn't do that. Okay, the reason I sometimes have singing clips is because my mic takes a really long time to warm up, and I need to like start talking or making noise for it to kick in and start warming up, and it takes like 15 seconds sometimes, especially during the cold. So I hope my audio is not messed up, but sorry. Sometimes I get stupid singing clips, so bonus? Perk? Probably not. Okay, so Eva Pierce says, here's my question, Stephen. If you had a connection with someone special, would you have a relationship living nomad van life? This tugs at my heartstrings. I wish it was easier to date while moving. Like for me, it's so important to be present with your significant other. Like the present moment is all that it's about when it's like comes to a relationship. And I don't think I could do long distance. The dream would be if I could travel with someone, so we could travel together. So it would probably be someone who also lives in a van. I think that's kind of complicated, and that might be like the biggest difference I've ever encountered about living in a house and living in a van. Relationships are so tricky to maneuver. Maybe just because I've never done it really. I tried it once, and then it just felt the entire time that there was an impending doom because I had plans to go somewhere and they didn't. And so I was like, this doesn't feel like great. So it's a tricky thing. Maybe if I find someone who has my exact same rhythm, which would be the type of person I'm interested in anyways, so maybe they will want to travel with me and go places. I currently have a crush on another van life person, and So just talking about this gets me like giddy because it's like so in tune with what's going on in my life right now. But I'm just being over dramatic and like overthinking it, which makes it like horrible. But that's yeah, kind of how I'm feeling right now. So it's fun to think about, but yeah, I can't get obsessed. These these Virgo tendencies are toxic, vicious. Moving on to Karen Lebowski's question. Recently read that Ladysmith is cougar capital of the islands, so no off leash for my two dogs. That's not a question, but that's an interesting comment, so I decided to include it. I didn't think that Ladysmith was the cougar capital. That surprises me. I thought it was like too populated over there, but maybe it just has a good mountainous and empty area. But also it's like a huge place for dog walkers too. So I know what you mean about keeping your dogs on your leash. So yeah, be careful with that. But maybe we have to go make a visit to Ladysmith. Try to talk to any locals and see if they've heard about any cougar stories. Maybe that's a library visit that we have to do. I remember meeting the library last time and he was a really nice guy. So cougars, huh? Wendy asks, loving your storytime feature. Thanks for answering my question in the video and keeping it real. Will you be heading back to Ontario anytime soon or hanging out in BC for a while longer? Hoping you find peace, joy, and sunshine in your day. Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. That's some great comments and questions. Love any feedback, so that's awesome. Thank you, Wendy. Anytime soon. I want to go back to Ontario. I was thinking in September. I'm really bad at making plans, so not exactly, but I do want to go for this Christmas and see all my friends and family for this Christmas, and then try never to spend another winter in Ontario. It's kind of my dream right now. So BC for another like 5 months. Oh, it's going by so quickly. I really have to sit down and actually plan because I've just been going with the wind, but I need to use this time wisely because I'm gonna miss it. This is a beautiful area and I've made so many friends. I don't want to leave them, but maybe if I can go back on Salt Spring before I go, that might be a fun plan. And then I wanted to go North Island, and then I wanted to go down like the loop in Victoria, Renfrew stuff. But yeah. Anyways, lots to think about, lots of planning. West Coast Lori asks, I didn't notice the parking lot being busy. You were so creative. Whoever said you were not supposed to take things from beaches? Okay, yeah, that last episode, the parking lot, I definitely edited out a lot of like the car noises and I don't really need to. It just got distracting for me. So it was me just like staring off into the distance as a car like pulls out, and the car beside me changed like 3 times in that video. I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't have parked there for so long. But whatever, that being the case, whoever said you're not supposed to take things from beaches, I don't know if that's a thing. Yeah, I always just feel it feels inappropriate changing nature. So, but yeah, actually that's a thing about beaches that I should learn. I'm not sure. It might be actually completely fine. Maybe it helps the ecosystem because it's just bleached and useless coral. Or is that making more sand? I don't really know how that works. One time I was visiting Pebble Beach in Marathon, which I actually did take a pebble from, but a really small one. But maybe the sign there that said don't remove anything from this beach was because Pebble Beach is like just known for these beautiful rocks that people were probably taking and filling their gardens with like on a like way too intense basis, because there's millions of stones there. But so they needed to add that for the tourists. So yeah. And then I just started applying that to all beaches. But you're probably right. I probably shouldn't worry about it. Thank you for that reinforcement. I don't think that was really your question. I grew up on Van Isle. I have never heard of this. Okay, yeah, so maybe there's just no signs around here. Official question. Have you ever explored the Kootenays? I haven't. Dang it. Another place to go. You know, this time I got really rushed. once I got into BC to get to Vancouver for multiple reasons. One being I had no money. Two being I really wanted to see a friend that I hadn't seen in a very long time, and she lives in Vancouver. So that's pretty much why I didn't get to explore the Kootenays. I did kind of have plans to go there, but I literally just didn't have money at the time. I was gonna go to a like festival, like a music thing that I bought a ticket for and everything, but I lost out because the day it was happening was the same day I actually had my interview for a new job. So unlucky there, but hopefully I will get to go to like those rave dance parties in the future somewhere in the mountains. That's a goal for sure. Boho Blue Van. I don't know why I don't know how to say your username. I talk about you pretty much every episode. Boho Blue Van asks, play your guitar and sing us a song. Do you write your own songs? This is something that I've actually just encountered with a new friend. He's been writing songs and he played me a few of his, and I thought they just went off. They seem so much fun to do. So yes, I want to start writing my own songs, and I don't write any songs. Sometimes I just jam and like go off of random tangents, but it never turns into a full song. But that's a really good suggestion, and I would love to. That's one of the hardest creative paths for me for some reason. I like little rhythms come to me, but the lyrics are really hard, and sometimes it just gets too personal, and I'm like, oh, you have to be personal. That's like, because for crafts and art, sometimes it's like very ambiguous personal stuff, but with singing, it's like not. So I would love to start writing. That's a great idea. Thank you. With the summer coming and the sun coming out a little bit more, I bet I'll be inspired. And happy to do that for all of you guys. My guitar is actually sitting right there, so maybe I should just go grab it and play you a song. Maybe I will play something right at the end, just a little diddly on the way out. But that concludes all the questions that I have for this segment of the podcast, which means awesome. So let's see what we got today. This is the first thing I pulled up, and I don't think I've shown it to you guys yet. So this beautiful slab of granite is also amethysts, crushed amethyst, beautiful purple amethyst. I found this while discovering a rock deposit just outside of Thunder Bay. And on the side, there's some darker crystals. It has some really, really nice formations, especially if you're looking at it in person. I can't really get close-ups. But anyways, so this is a beautiful rock that I was so excited to find because for days and days I was dreaming about the amethyst in Thunder Bay, and I made it there. And I only did that type of mine rock field hunting hiking thing once, which I really regretted. I should have done it a few more times, but everything was on. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I would do differently in my trip, even though it still took a really long time, but hopefully the next time I'm better at it. And look how beautiful this amethyst is. Maybe we can add some more. This isn't the only piece that I found, but maybe I'll show you another piece in another segment. This one was really cool because it was so dirty. It was just poking out a little bit, I think. And then I undirtied it, and it had both sides, has gems. The best part of these rock deposits were the huge formations on the huge boulders, nothing that you could even think about taking home. Some of them had been like chipped a little bit, but even at the bottom and weird spots, you would find huge gems that are just there that if I went for it, I would get like a chunk of amethyst, but I'm not going to. I think it's so pretty to look at, especially in the huge clusters. And it wasn't just purple. For some reason, there was yellow and orange formations. I don't know if that's called citrine, the yellow version of quartz, which this is the purple version of quartz. But it was stunning, like with it beside each other, just sparkling in huge crystal formations. It was really inspiring time, and I'm gonna do that on my way back as well. So look forward to it. Story time, story time, story time, story time, time for story, story time. Yay, story time. So what I was thinking about this time for a short little story was, this is like one of my very first memories of going to a beach. In my youth, I got to travel to Nova Scotia a couple times, and I have family there, and we would walk along the beach, and we used to go hunting for gooey ducks and just roasting them on a fire, and that's one really fond memory that I have. But also on that day, there was a part of the beach that we were coming across where we found a enormous leatherback turtle. It was beached and it was dead and it was decaying. And over the week that I was there, I did go to that beach a couple times, and every time it would just look worse. And at one time, okay, this is a grim story. Grim story time, grim story time, grim story time. Okay. And its head was cut off when I visited. From a local, I heard that it was like National Geographic that wanted to preserve the skull or something like that. But it was kind of crazy and awful to see. But it's the nature of things, so that's what I have to consider. It's time. It was an enormous animal. Definitely the heaviest animal that I've ever seen. It was very interesting. And what makes me remember that story is that recently, while walking along Long Beach, I found, like, I pretty much stumbled into like 3 beached sea lions, which I'll have some brief footage in upcoming videos. But yeah, it's a startling thing to just look up, and one was a full-on skeleton, and I was like really close to it, and I think it was a sea lion, but at the time I was convinced that it was something way bigger, like a whale or a shark or something, and it was too decayed to really tell. The fins were there, but anyways, that was just a shocking experience. I was like, this graveyard. And then in a little while, I found a way less decayed sea lion. It just had no eyes. And then I found a third. So death and beaches have always been a thing for me, and I just think that's a weird thing. That story time doesn't have an end. It's not really anything, but yeah, I just wanted to share that and maybe add a trigger warning to my next video. But that's that for this podcast episode. I really enjoyed talking with you all. I enjoyed my coffee as well. Yesterday, I went to Long Beach again, and I got to meet some really cool people from Quebec. Like, being close to Tofino, I've met 9 or 10 different people from Quebec, 9 or 10 different names of Quebec people who are all so kind and so adventurous and have so many great travel tips for me. They inspired me to purchase a season pass for all the national parks, which is only $70, and it will give me access to hiking in Banff when I pass through there. So all very, very exciting stuff. The sun's just starting to peek out right as I'm ending my podcast. And a little trick that I found out when I visited the park's office is the days that I've been paying to park in the national park. So it's been about $10.50 a day, just for one regular adult pass. And I can go into the office and bring those, and they will give me a discount on my parks pass. So I've already paid like $20 into the pass, so it'll only be like $50. This is a great idea, especially if I'm gonna be here for even a week longer. I think I'm gonna be here for like a week or two, maybe. Yeah, definitely at least 1 week. So I'm gonna get it and not have to worry about it when I get to Banff, because that was one of the things. I saw those permit signs everywhere, but I didn't see places to buy the permits at a lot of them. Anyways, there's a big truck coming, so I'm gonna end this podcast before some noise interrupts. I hope you guys have a really fantastic day, and you deserve everything. Opulent. That's who you are. Okay. Bye.